start again so you have a clean recording. Okay, welcome everybody tonight from all over the world, because we are really coming in from all over the world to listen to Mal, and that's not surprising. So tonight, Success Academy wants to introduce to you ASEA Ambassador Triple Diamond Executive, Mr. Mal Sword. And Mal has a wealth of experience in our business, and I'm sure he's going to tell you all about that along his journey. And tonight he's going to talk about starting a new business builder off right in their first few months. So this is your first slide, Mal, so take it away and then tell me when you want me to take it down.
Yeah, sure. So, thank you, Jules. Thanks for the introduction, and welcome everybody. Good evening. And so I do have a lot of notes. I've got 21 pages that I wrote this afternoon of notes. So because I wanted to try and share with you some of the things that I do, probably second nature, because I've been doing this for a long time. And sometimes, you know, when you can do something, but then it's a different lesson, maybe a different thing to actually be able to pass it on and teach it. So I'm hoping I can share with you. And look, let me just say right up front, there's no one way to do this. There's no perfect way of building a business like this. We're dealing with people. It's a people business. I want to share that with you. It's very much about people. This is just one way that I've, had success building the business. So I want to kind of share with you the early steps and the belief that I have with this, and what I'm going to share with you this evening is, if I can help somebody get to the bronze, silver level, I think by the time people get to bronze or silver, they've pretty much got what they need to know to be able to build a big business. And how far they go ultimately depends on the size of their dream. The whole business really is about a dream. It's really about your vision, a sense of, working out what you want. Your clear sense of purpose needs to be emotional. So when I'm talking to people, I talk about this a lot. I talk about their emotional driver. For me, when I started my ASEA journey almost 5 years ago, 26th of February, I think we launched here. So it's almost 5 years to the day. I had a lot of very deep emotional drivers. It wasn't that I wanted to buy, it was nothing to do with a car. It was nothing to do with a washing machine. It was just really a sense of wanting to win, wanting to come back financially from the financial abyss. It was to be able to leave a legacy for my children. It was to be able to feel like I could win again after I lost everything. So a lot of the drivers for me were not material things. Nothing wrong with material things. I'm not saying that. Certainly one of them was to have a house. It really was to be able to buy a house again. Anyway, I'm digressing, and I've got a lot of notes to cover, so let me just get through. Okay, so one of the comments that I've heard many times from the number one income earner with ASEA, a lady called Trish Schwenkler, and let me just recommend to you, if you're kind of relatively new to the ASEA business, you can go into YouTube and just Google, I think that's what you call it, Google Trish Schwenkler. Her name is SCHWENKLER. She does a very good training. It's a very, very good training for somebody that's very experienced, not only with ASEA, but in the industry. She has about a similar length of time. I think I'm 28, 29 years, similar to Trish. And this is what she says about people that come into the business. She says, run with the runners, walk with the walkers, and then the people that don't really want to do much, they might just want a product experience. There's not much you can do. You introduce them, and I might call those people every now and again. But the key really is to find the runners. What our business is, if you're wanting to build a business, build an organization, our business is built around finding key people, finding the runners. And this is one of the notes I wrote afterwards, the three keys that I look for when I look to work with a runner. I can't work with everybody. And neither can you. You can't work with everybody. And certainly, I'm not trying to force people to succeed. Please don't think that I do that. Really, I'm looking for volunteers. I'm looking for people that were like me a number of years ago. I really just wanted to come back. And there's three things I've learned over the years that I look for when I take and invest my time and my life with somebody. Number one is that they have a big dream. They have a strong emotional reason to build the ASEA business. Look, if they can get everything they want in life doing what they're doing, they don't need to build this. They don't need to build an ASEA business. But most people can't. Most people can't get the kind of lifestyle that's available, you know, at the levels of diamond, double diamond, triple diamond, where you have the time to enjoy the money, money to enjoy the time. That sense of freedom is very uncommon, very, very uncommon. And it's an incredible gift that comes out of this industry. So number one, what I've watched and found in people and in myself, people that are driven to a strong reason, a strong emotional dream, I like to work with those people. You know, Denny Robinson talks about, you know, find a why that makes you cry. It really has to be something strong. Number two, I look for people that are coachable, that are willing to learn. You know, I am still immeasurably coachable. I'm still learning. Whilst I've been in the industry a long time, I don't have all the answers for you. I can help you get to a certain level. I believe I certainly help you can get to bronze or gold or diamond. I can't help you get into the presidential ranks. I'm sorry. I know some of you might like to, but I'm not there yet. So I can't help you to do that. I can help you get to where I've got to, and I can help you on that journey and coach you on that journey. So number two, people are coachable. Number three, they're prepared to do the work. That's a biggie. A lot of people want the money, but they don't want to do the work. What's the old saying? Everybody wants to go to heaven. Not everybody wants to die. Not everybody wants to die to go there. There is some work to be done, and the work is very much front end loaded. In a business like this, it's very much front end loaded when you do the work. And not in the early stages, not always a lot of income coming back, but that's when you're building the foundation. So let's look at the pattern to help a runner get started. And there's a number of things. There's 8 steps in this pattern. And I'm going to go through, I won't go through all of them, but I'll go through a lot of them this evening. Number one, we've kind of covered that. That's the emotional content of the dream. Number two is the commitment. And that really is the time commitment that somebody's prepared to put in. And in the early stages, that's really what I'll commit to their business as well. So somebody putting in 10, 15 hours a week, I want to match them. Again, I'm talking about the people I want to work with to help them get to bronze, to silver, gold in those early stages. So my commitment is to do what I can to help them. And when I register somebody, you know, for me personally, when I bring somebody on, my work starts then. It doesn't start by bringing them on. I'm not saying that's the easy part, but my real work starts when I bring somebody on, because I feel I have a commitment to them to help them, to guide them, to do what I can to help them, especially in the early stages, and especially people that maybe have not been in a business like this before. So the third thing is the list. We're going to invite, I'm going to talk to you about the invitation, present, share the opportunity, follow up mentorship, and duplicate the above. So I'm going to talk to you about those through the course of this evening. So when I first sit down with somebody, this is what I do with them. So let's say that I'm in the process of enrolling somebody. I really spend time working with them to try and find out what their emotional reason is, what it is they want in 3 months, in 6 months. What's their macro dream? What's the big dream? What's the big dream that they have for their family? And it'll be things like, I really want to have a home for my family. I really want to be able to create an exit strategy. I want to be able to educate my children a certain way. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to retire. I want to help this charity. So generally, they're going to be things that are of emotional content, and they're going to be bigger things. So you might want a washing machine as a stepping stone, but it's not going to be the big dream. So I coach people on having little dreams and big dreams. And whilst we have a macro dream and that's in place, and we can put a time frame on that, I really want to work with people in the short term. Most people are short-term thinkers. So I'm really working on the early stages, especially the first few months, to get them on the board, to get them into the business and to get them going so they get some confidence about building a business like this. But the dream is definitely the gas in the tank. And so our business is about people because we are a people business. I think sometimes people confuse this. My belief in a business like ASEA is that people move products. Products don't move people. We are a people business. Most of what I do is work with people, is to coach people, is to guide people, mentor people as best I can. And of course, that includes me. So I'm still working on me. I'm still doing a lot of work on my mindset, my belief, working on my value, if you like, so that I can impart that value and help other people. The more value I create in me, the more value I can give to other people and help other people. Jim Rohn, and I've got this in a closing comment, Jim Rohn used to say, didn't he, that if you want more, become more. If you want more, become more. And so there's a lot of what I'm going to share with you is about that too. So I spend time sitting down with people and in the early stage to find out what it is they want and to find out what they want that they can't get doing what they're doing. So if they can accomplish all their dreams and goals, again, doing what they're doing, they wouldn't necessarily have a reason, to build a business like this. But a lot of people come to a business like ours because they don't. They can't get that time and money freedom. And that's the reason they find their way to this incredible business of ASEA. One of the things I've noticed over the years is that people tend to ask the wrong questions. People ask all the how questions. How do I do this? How do I do that? When the real answer is why. Why would you want to do that? What's the driver? What's the emotion? And there's a great saying, when the dream is big enough, the facts don't count. There's many ways up the mountain. You line up 10 diamonds or 20 diamonds with ASEA, they've all gone up the mountain slightly differently. Now, there are some keys there, but I guarantee everyone has had an emotional driver, an emotional reason to want to climb the mountain. How they do it is going to be different. So the how will always surrender to the why. Now, that's a big lesson for a lot of people. They think they've got to know everything about everything. And sometimes new associates think that that's the way to get people going, and they bombard them with so much information. The poor new person gets so confused about everything. And when people are confused, they tend not to do anything. So again, it's really about finding their reason, finding their why. And of course, for me, many of you know my story. After I lost everything, and a defining moment was in 2015. When I wasn't able to buy my little boy's Christmas presents, that'll kind of drive you to a place where it'll give you a strong emotional driver, a strong emotional fight to build to get back on your feet again and build the business. And I like working with people like that. Not that everybody I work with, I go looking for people that have lost everything, but I do have a heart for people that have had challenges. I do have a heart for people that have, maybe lost a lot or lost, their business and that type of thing. And I really want to, serve to help them and inspire them that they can come back again. I mean, if an old bloke like me can, begin to come back, all of you can too. So I like working with people, finding people that, really have a dream, a strong emotional dream. The second thing is really the commitment. And when I work with somebody, I am committed to their success to the degree that they are committed to their success. I'm not there to do it all for them. I'm not there to make them rich. I'm not there to do that. I'm there to coach them, and I'm watching people. I watch what they do, and I watch what they say. I watch what they do, and I look for their commitment. So if it's all just my commitment, that's not going to last very long. I want to see an equal share of their commitment in the early stages so that we build it as a partnership. If I'm all in, I expect them to be all in. Now, the hours may be a little bit different. I may in the early stages put a few more hours into their business, and I'm fine with that. But I do want to see them coming as well. I don't want to see people just say, okay, well, Mal, you make all the calls, you do everything, and I won't do everything. I'll just let you build it for me. That's not what it's all about. My role is to coach people, is to help you to build a business like this. I remember a great leader in the industry a long time ago. He said, you want to give people a hand up, not a hand out, a hand up. My aim is to give people a hand up, coach them, teach them, guide them on mindset, and especially give people the belief that they can build a business like this. You can build a business like this. I have an inherent belief that anybody can go diamond, anybody. If they have a dream they're committed to, and they spend time thinking about that and emotionalizing that, and if they're coachable and they're prepared to do the work. Now, the time may differ. Sometimes people come to a business like this with a negative emotional level. I was like that 5 years. I came with a big deficit. When I came to the ASEA business, I came with a big deficit, and I knew that. I knew I had to get myself back up to kind of zero so I could start growing again. I was very damaged. I was a wounded warrior. I wasn't in a good place, and I knew that. And so that's why I spent a lot of time, and still do, working on my mind and listening to audibles and really working my mindset. But anyway, I'm digressing. So my commitment is to help them get started properly. And the best way when you're working with people, the best way to teach people, here's a big lesson in leadership, big lesson. You can write this one in blood. The best way to teach is to show, not tell. A lot of people tell. That's management. The best way to lead an organization and help people is to show them, with them, work with them, go and do the call, make the calls and work with them. So showing, not telling. So that's a big lesson in leadership. My aim is to help people reach bronze within 2 to 5 months. I think 2 to 5 months is a good guideline from somebody that's starting, that's working with me, that we're working with momentum and excitement. And a business like this needs that. You know, sometimes people say, well, I want to build it slowly. Yeah, well, the problem with that is if the leader, you, that business, is going to be built slowly, everybody that's following has gone to sleep. You know, the speed of the group is the speed of the leader. If the leader's on it, if the leader's got strong momentum with excitement, building with excitement and energy and working towards their dreams, that's very energizing for people coming in behind it. If the leader's kind of slow, he's confused, he's lost, not sure where he's going, if he's on this game, is he building, is he not? So when you build an organization, especially in the early stages, it's important that you move with speed. You know, everything loves speed. Money loves speed. Everything loves speed, especially a business like this. It loves that momentum, especially in the early stages. As I mentioned before, when I enroll a new potential builder, that's when my work starts. And the first 90 days is very important. And the reason that the first 90 days is very important is because when people come to a business like this, if they've never built a business like this before, people are concerned whether they can build it. They go into a lot of fear. You know, that's the opposite, isn't it? People have a dream, and what's the opposite? Fear. And what people do generally is they vacillate. One of the things we teach people is to focus your thoughts on what you want, not what you don't want. You know, energy flows where your thoughts flow. So if you're focusing on your dream, you'll move in that direction. If you're focusing on your fear, you'll go in that direction. One of the challenges for a new person is they vacillate. A little bit of fear, a little bit of dream, a bit of fear, more fear, a little bit of dream. And so it's to try and even that out. So there's 3 keys that I've watched that will help me hold people in the business long enough so I can teach them about mindset. I can teach them about, you know, belief, that I can teach them about attitude and resolve and grit and determination and courage to their dream, and that building a business like this is a process, not an event. I know everybody wants to get rich by the end of February, but it's a process. Some people's processes are faster than others, but it's not a race. The journey that I had to build my ASEA business was with me. I was not fast in the beginning. I wasn't, because I had to deal with me. So sometimes people come to a business, takes them a little bit longer, but the journey's long. You know, look at this as a process, not an event, and be kind and gentle on yourself as you're building it. Never look at somebody else's success and say, well, I can't do what they've done, because the road is long. So understand that a lot of it is to do with personal growth. But there's 3 things that I work hard on to keep people involved, or to help people to do, especially in the early stages. And 3 things really get people excited, I think, when they start building a business like this. Number 1, when they see people coming into their business. So I love the binary model. So they can, when somebody takes a position and they can see people dropping in underneath them that they haven't necessarily introduced. It's very exciting for people to see that. So I work to help make that happen, to get people into their organization as quickly as I can. So that's the first thing, seeing people drop in. The second thing is if they start making a little bit of money, either through the fast start or get to help them get to Director 300 really quickly and Director 700 really quickly. Because when they start to see some money coming in, it validates they have belief. It gives them belief. This really does work. I can really make this work. And so that's the second thing that we've watched over the years that really helps hold people into an organization, especially in the early stages. And the third thing is relationship. And that's a key one, is to develop relationships. Now, you can't develop relationships with everybody in your business. You know, Bart Cotter, I see Bart Cotter on the line. Bart would have, I'm guessing, 50,000 people in his organization. He can't physically have relationships with 50,000 people. I can't have a relationship with everybody, neither can you. But we do work to have relationships with the key people, with the people that are coming with us, and we're wanting to help build the business. Work hard on those relationships. And again, the reason we do that is we have a vested interest in helping those people to get what they want, helping them to get their dreams and goals. Remember, building an organization like this is very much about taking the eyes off you to help other people. And so it is with those people to pay that forward. So when I give something to people, you know, it's good for them to pay that forward and go and do what I've shown them to go and help other people. But those are the three things, those are the three keys that'll keep people in, especially in the early stages, while we can get the business rolling, while we can get some traction. And okay, let me go on to the next point. One of the biggest mistakes I see from associates is that instead of leading them step by step, yeah, I've kind of already mentioned this, they bombard them with information. And they think probably that somehow, if I send this new person 5,000 links on redox signaling molecules and the science of redox molecules and all the trials and all the testimonials that ever been, think that somehow that'll help them to stay in the business. Look, a little bit of information is fine, but people don't need all of that information. It just confuses them. You know, I don't do that. What I do is I work diligently to get the business moving, you know, they can learn gradually, as I did. I learned gradually information, but the thing that holds people in is excitement, energy, watch people come into their business. Okay, so once I've got them started, and okay, so they're on board, they've got a position. This is the first thing that I do. I book the next meeting, and the next meeting is going to be a contact session. It's going to be a phone session. And so I say to my new associate, John, your homework is to make a list as big as you can of everybody. And I said, without prejudging everybody, without prejudging anybody, you know, you will never know. Somebody might come in you think won't build the business very well, but they might lead you to somebody who leads you to somebody, and 4 levels down, you find the biggest leader in your whole organization. There's a gentleman called Brian Carruthers, he's got an Audible book. It's called Building Your Empire. He's built massive organizations in this industry. And one of the comments that he makes is every dud knows a stud. What he means by that is somebody maybe that may not be ready or may not want to build the business, but might come into the business, will lead you to somebody. You work through them, through their list, through their contact list, to find a leader through them. We call them carriers. So when you make your list, when I teach people to make a list, please do not prejudge anybody. And so what I do is I'm going to hold this up for you can see. This is kind of what I do. I've been doing this. I know it's kind of old school, but I've been doing this for a long time. So what I do is I write a sheet like this for them. And on the left-hand side of the page, I write A to Z of names. And over here, I write A to Z of occupations. And it's a memory jogger for people to write down people. And I start the process for them. I said, do you know anybody with the name Andrew? I remember years ago, I did this with somebody on the Gold Coast. And they said, oh, Mel, look, I've only been on the Gold Coast, I think it was 2 or 3 years. He said, I really don't know anybody. And I thought, okay, I'll sit down and help him, you know, make a names list. It was a strategic place in the organization that I was working. And I sat down with him for, I can't recall, a bit over an hour maybe. We came up with 132 names on his contact list. You know, most people have got hundreds and hundreds of names in here. So their homework, the first step is their homework is to work on their names list and with telephone numbers. And once I've done that, I'm going to leave him with that. And then the next thing I do is book in a time to get together with him to start the process going, to start making the phone calls. And so that's what I do. I start, you know, getting on the phones and working through his names list. So one of the things I don't do, and I've watched other people in the business, what they do is they introduce a new associate. It would be like me introducing a new associate and say, well, good luck. Hope you make it. Wish you well. And if you need any help, just give me a call. People don't do that. They don't know. Most people don't know how to put a business like this together. So it really is about showing people, working with them step by step by step. And the reason that I do that is there's a process of learn, do, teach, learn, do, teach. What you and I are looking for is to coach people to duplicate what we do. That's how you build large organizations, through duplication. So it's cloning ourselves. So, you know, you want to be the kind of leader that you can clone. So, you know, if you're doing it all, then you want to clone people that will also want to do that. So that's the whole purpose. And that's the point of building a business like this, is it's leaders teaching leaders to lead, to lead, to lead, to lead. You've seen in my presentation, we talk about red apples. It's about finding red apples, then teaching the red apple to teach a red apple, to teach a red apple, to teach a red apple. Now, that's how you create an organization that duplicates. That's how you create residual income. That's how you create lifestyle, is by doing that. If you don't do that, you'll end up with a job. And that means you'll be doing everything for everybody, and that kind of doesn't work. So it's really about coaching people, the basics of building the business. And I don't expect that a new person, my new person, I'm going to protect them. I'm going to shield them from the people they're going to call, you know. And I'm going to make those. I'm going to make those phone calls. And okay, I'm kind of digressing. I'll go into that in a second. One of the other things that I do once I've asked them to make a names list, I'm going to get them set up on the Audible app. So let me just show you what that looks like. So you can see, I don't know if you can see, it might be a bit too shiny, but it's this one here. It's available on Amazon. It's the Audible Books app. And so I start people, I give them, and this is really early on, a list of 3 books that I'd like them to download and start listening to. Audible apps, by the way, if you've not been on it, I think first month is free. You get 2 download books, and then after that, it's either $14.95 or $16.95 per month. But this is essential. You know, what we do is grow people. You know, grow your mindset, grow your belief, and you'll grow your organization. So there's three books that I encourage people to start with, all industry specific, all to do with, and from people that have built organizations, not theorists, you know, people that have built very, very large organizations. And the first one is a book called, it's got a funny title, it's called Mach 2, MACH2, the number 2, with your hair on fire. Written by a man called Richard Bliss Brooke. And great story of this young man who got into the business at 23, floundered, really didn't understand what he was in, started learning, started developing, started working on him, started working on his mindset, started working on his affirmations. 4 years later, and this goes back to the, don't quote me on the figures, it was either the 70s or the 80s. 4 years later was generating in US dollars about $35,000 per month, I think, about $250,000 a year, US dollars back in the 70s or the 80s. Just phenomenal. But what happened, what he talks about is what changed wasn't the market, wasn't the product. What changed was he changed. That's the whole point. What changed, he changed. And he'd never had any success. So the great part about this book and what I love about it is wherever you're from, whatever you've been doing, whatever success you've had or you haven't had is kind of irrelevant because we can all change. Every one of us can change. And this was the metamorphosis that I had to go through again in 2016. I knew I had to work on. I knew I had to change. I knew I had to change my belief system and dramatically change my belief system, dramatically changed my income gradually. The second book I would recommend to you, if you're brand new or new people, is The 4-Year Career, also from Richard Bliss Brooke. Again, industry specific, very much about the business. And he talks about a 4-year career. Now, he also says in the book, some people make it a 2-year career. Some people make it a 2-year career. I would say to most people, and I've been in the business a long time, people that want to set up a residual income, they say, how long does it take? It's going to take, depending on the hours that you put in, depending on your level of commitment, your level of discipline, how much you work on yourself, how much you grow. Generally, it's going to be 2 to 5 years. Some people do it faster. Some people it takes longer. That's up to them. But a good guide, if you're looking at this and you're working with people and they say, Mel, how long will it take me to get into, let's say, 6-figure passive income, into that level? Let's say, $8,000 to $10,000 a month. It's going to take you somewhere between 2 to 5 years. Now, I want to just say something that in our business, the ASEA, the gold level in ASEA in Australian dollars, because I know there's people in different countries here, in Australian dollars, a good gold will earn $8,000 to $10,000 a month. And I believe if people are diligent, focused, you can do that within anywhere between 9 months and 18 months. But I'm talking about to mature your organization so it's solid, so it rolls on without you. Generally, that's going to take you 2 to 5 years. That's the process. And the third book that I recommend to new people is a book by Eric Worre called Go Pro. Again, all of those 3 books. Now, those are just the 3 starter books. After that, we go on to books like Think and Grow Rich. You Were Born Rich by Bob Proctor. Awesome book that really transformed me and my thinking back in 2016. So again, this is what I can share with you. The people that read, that listen to the most, will have the biggest businesses. I guarantee you. The people that work on their belief and their mindset every single day as a habit over the next 3 months, 12 months. You listen to Jim Rohn, he says, you can't not change if you're listening to the information. He said, isn't it interesting, that in America, for example, there's all these libraries, all this wealth of information, libraries, and yet only 3% have a library card. It's like, there's all the information. Here's how you get wealthy. Here's how you learn. Here's how you grow. People drive straight past the libraries. They don't learn. They don't change. They don't grow. And our business is all about personal development, personal growth. How fast you grow is your business. You can grow fast if you do a lot of work on yourself. If you want to do it slower, that's up to you. Again, it's your life, just depends. I knew I had to grow fast because I was 61 and that and lost everything. So I needed to try and do it in a hurry. All right, let me come back. Sorry, I went off the track a little bit there. This is what I do. Okay, let me talk about these phone sessions that I do. And let me just say this. Your organization will grow in direct proportion to the number of new contacts per week that your organization is making. Your organization will grow in direct proportion to the number of new contacts your organization is making per week. Let me give you an example. If you've got 10 people in your business and 5 of those people are making 10 calls a week, you've got 50 people, you've got 50 new contacts. That's terrific. What happens if you've got 500 people and 250 of those people are making 20 contacts a week? You kind of get the point. The more contacts that you can make, the more contacts your organization can make in a week, the faster your organization will grow. So making contacts with people is the essence of our business and the essence of growing organizations quickly. So again, when I can coach somebody on how to make phone calls, if I can coach them and then they can coach other people and they can coach other people and they can coach other people, that means I've set in motion an organization that will be making repetitive contacts and growing, and that organization will grow. So here's the thing. When I've got a new person, I've enrolled this new person, they're my new person, I want to help them. I don't leave them to make the phone call. They've got no idea what to say. They don't know what to say to people. They're going to ask them, well, how's your dog and how's your cat and how's your mum and how's your everything? And the person says, John, why did you call me for? So, oh yeah, that's right. Do you ever hear about this stuff called redoxing signals, something like that? No, mate, I've never heard of that. Oh, would you like to? No, not particularly. Thanks very much. And your poor new guy is going to make 10 calls, 20 calls like that. He's going to do 2 things. Number one, he's going to be demoralized. Number two, he's going to waste some of his best prospects because they don't know what the heck he's talking about. So the best person to make the phone calls is the person with the experience. And in this case, if I'm working with them, that's me. Also, I want to protect my new person until he's had the chance to put on, listen to the audible, put on some armor. I will make the initial contact for them. So I'm helping them and holding their hand and guiding them step by step. Again, what I'm doing is showing them, this is what I do. This is what I do. And I want to hear them. I want them to hear. So I put the phone on loudspeaker so they can hear. And I can do this, I can do this around the country. So I've got people that I'm making calls for on Zoom, and I make the calls here and they can be listening. They listen to the conversation. And what I want them to hear is that, whatever my rank is, people sometimes think when you get to, double diamond or a triple diamond or, big rank, they think, well, everybody must say yes to him. Everybody must just say, fall over, oh, well, I'll get him with him. It's not like that. It doesn't work like that. And people can kind of get an understanding of, okay, so it's just the process. Mel goes through the same process. Yes, I do. And I've made a lot of phone calls and I've got a script that I'm going to share with you where to find it. It's on Julie's website. But I make the calls. Let me give you some guidelines when I'm doing a session like this and how that looks. When I make the phone calls, I like to stand up and I like to teach people to stand up. Puts air in my lungs, makes me feel more comfortable, makes me feel more confident when I'm standing up. Oftentimes, if people are nervous and they're sitting down, it'll come through in their voice. They'll be struggling to draw air, and it'll be difficult for them to breathe, and they'll sound like they're really nervous. The idea of making a phone call is you've got to relax. It takes time to get to that place, but that's the idea. This is just having a conversation. So when I make the phone calls, I am to be as natural as if I'm talking to anybody. It's just another call. Be natural and relatable as best I can, and I don't want to come across as being salesy. So the first phone session I'm going to run for Generally, I'll run a phone session for 1.25 hours to 1.5 hours. And the reason I do that is that it takes a lot of energy to do that. It takes a lot of energy. I'm going to be on my game. I've got to know what I'm going to say. I've got my script, but it takes a lot of energy. So I like to do a phone session 1.25 hours, 1.5 hours. And again, I'm working off my new associates names list, and I'm working into the top 20, 30 contacts that he's got. I said, okay, who are the most ambitious people? Let me connect with those people. And I set up a little sheet. I often do this. I'll just show you what I do. And the reason I do this, I'm training my brain to give my brain a goal. So what I do is I draw a little chart like that, and I draw 6. My plan is in an hour and a half to have 6 people say yes to me. I want some information. Yes, that sounds interesting. And then every time I just cross them out, it's like a goal. And what I'm doing is I'm giving my brain instruction. So oftentimes I'll say to people, what are we doing a phone session for? Oh, to find people that are interested. Yep. Okay, good. How many? Oh, as many as possible. But the brain doesn't understand that. The brain can't lock on to, I just want to be rich. I just want to be, as many as possible. The brain responds to clear instruction. So what I do is I set that into my subconscious. That's what I'm here for. My goal the next hour and a half is to have 6 people say, yes, Mal, I'd like to meet you. I'd like to get to know more about this opportunity. Can you please send me some information? That's my goal. Sometimes I do more than that, but that's my goal. I have a goal. So most of the things you do in business like this, set a goal, have a clear plan as to what you want to do. Okay, so my phone script, I use a script, and here's where you're going to find that phone script. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's worked very well, and it's duplicatable. What I don't want to have happen is no phone script, and then remember like Chinese whispers. When we were kids, you sit around a table with 15 kids, and you say, the black shark had a green nose, and by the time it comes round, the cat lost its tail or something. It's completely different. It's the same with this. If you don't set up something that you can duplicate step by step by step, and this is important to have a script that works and that people can learn, so that they can learn, do, teach, that they can replicate it. If you don't have a script and you're not teaching your people a script, then 12 or 15 levels down, what are people saying there? Oh, g'day, mate. Would you like to get into redoxing molecules? Or, you just don't know what that script is going to be. So it's important to get this duplicatable. So you'll find the script on www. Oh, awesome. So in the business section, but you need to go to one other banner, because in the business section, there's a lot of little banners. You want to click on scripts and dialogues. So you go to www.redox.rules, a password is associate, capital A, go into the business section, and then click on scripts and dialogues. And we actually recorded that. Jules and I recorded that in Taiwan a couple of years ago. And it's pretty much the same script, almost word for word, that I use today. The only thing that I would ask you to change, please, is on that script, I say medical breakthrough. If you please change that to health breakthrough. Health breakthrough is compliant, medical breakthrough is non-compliant. So if you please change that word when you start working with that script, please just change it to health breakthrough. So the script is because to create duplication. And again, if you don't have a script, then, as you go down under depth, it'll end up being a mess. Let me just say this too, because this script is really looking for business builders. It's designed that way. It's designed to find, the multipliers, the people that want to look for a business opportunity, people that are wanting to develop an additional cash flow, an additional income stream. However, if I know somebody that I'm going to be talking to has got stage 4 cancer, I will not use that script. I'm not going to talk to them about a business opportunity. Please understand that. People have kind of had a go at me. I said, look, if I know somebody's unwell, I'm going to talk to them about the product. I'm going to talk to them about redox molecules, redox signaling molecules. And I'm going to talk to them about that, not the business opportunity. But most people that I talk to don't have a health problem. They've got a wealth problem, especially in the world today. I think post-COVID, we're going to see the biggest numbers come into this industry over the next year or 2 years, 3 years, than we've ever seen before, because people are struggling. A lot of people are struggling because of the COVID. They've lost their business. They've lost a lot of their income. Somebody told me, Jörg told me the other day that Lufthansa has just put off 29,000 people. There's a lot of people going to be in big trouble and looking for an opportunity, looking for a way of being able to generate income from a business that is not capital based, it's enterprise based. So the script is designed, that script is specifically designed to look for builders. So one of the things that I work on with the business is to find the multipliers. Finding customers is great, add volume, +1, +1, +1, +1. When you find the multiplier, it multiplies. And again, when I'm working with my new associate, I'm after some multipliers. I want them to start seeing the leverage and the potential of a business that can leverage like this. Again, the process is learn and do and teach. So the new associate just listen. The first phone session, they're just listening in. They're just listening and make a phone call, and they might ask some questions. Great, I'll make another phone call. But my aim is just to constantly make the phone calls so they can hear what I say. They can hear the inflection of my voice. They can hear how I might answer objections or questions. And I want to make an observation here, if I may. One of the things I did last week in making a number of calls last week, I had 3 people that said, "Oh, look, thanks, but no thanks, thank you," and they were polite. They were nice about it. And I said, "Look, do you mind if I ask you another question?" And they said, "No, that's fine. What's the question?" I said, "Look, if I could show you a way of generating an additional $2,000 to $4,000 a month in the next 2 to 5 months, and you would need to put in, let's say, somewhere between 6 to 8 to 10 hours per week. Would that be of interest to you?" And every one of them that said no to me then said, "Well, yes, that would be of interest to me." And I was talking to Doyley the other day. I think sometimes I've got to go back to when I began. My early stages was an extra $500 a month or $1,000 a month was very meaningful to me, very helpful to me. Yes, we're looking for the entrepreneur. Yes, we're looking for the big hitters. But sometimes when we mention the big figures, it kind of scares people off. They don't relate to those kind of figures, but they do relate to $2,000 a month. They do relate to $3,000 a month. So it's kind of an interesting observation for me to bring it back to those kind of numbers. I think if you ask people, John, may I ask you a question? If I could show you a way of being able to generate an additional $2,000 or $3,000 a month in the next 3 to 5 months, would that be helpful to your family? And a lot of people are going to say, yeah, I'd like some information on that. Okay, so the first phone session I've mentioned, we last about, let's say about an hour. An hour and a half, made the phone calls. And again, made all the phone calls, done all the contacts. I'm going to send out all the information and I'm going to do the meetings. I'm going to do everything. So that my new person is just there to watch. You're just there to watch. If I can go and do a meeting, they can come, great. I'll send out the links. I've got a standard templated email that I send out. Generally, I'll CC or BCC the person on that email. And then I will do the follow-ups. If I can, I'd like the person sitting listening to the follow-up. Follow-up is very simple. John Heights, Mal again. Just wanting to have a chance to go through the information. Yeah, I did. Great, terrific. I had that chance to look at all that. Terrific. May I ask, John, is your interest in looking at this? Is it for health reasons or is it for wealth reasons? Is it for the business opportunity or is it just for the health of you or a loved one? And I'm guided by then where we go with that conversation. So that's kind of the questions that I ask with the follow-up. But the money's in the follow-up. Please don't send information out if you're not going to follow up. I know people do that. I do the follow-ups. I've got books on as I roll them forward. Okay, the next thing I do is finish the phone session. Here's what I do. Next 2 things. I ask the person we book a next phone session in. I always book a meeting from a meeting. Never leave a meeting without booking the next meeting. Meeting from a meeting. Keep the flow, keep the momentum, keep the drive going. Again, I'm showing them what I'm doing. Next meeting, book the next phone session in. Okay, great. Organize the next phone session and next lot of names. And the other thing I do is I ask the new associate to learn that script, learn the script. And so I should be able to phone that person at 2 o'clock in the morning, not in a day, but I should be able to phone them at 2 o'clock in the morning as if I had taken a call from them and say, "Oh, Mary, I'm just returning your call." "Oh, thanks, Mel. Look, the reason for my call is that," and go straight into their script, go straight into the presentation. They know it off by heart. Now, what's so important about the script is it gives you and me confidence. I know where I'm going. I know what I'm going to say, and I pretty much know the answers. But I know the words that I'm going to use. When you have to make it up on the fly, it's very difficult. Because your brain, especially if there's a bit nerves, your brain is going. I watch people when they do this. It's like they don't know what to say. If they haven't learned the script properly, they get a bit here and a bit there. But it's just, when you learn the script, you'll get confidence. It's worth learning it. Now, tweak the words. Yeah, you can do that. If there's a word in these, I don't like that word, change it. But learn a script that you can learn and you can do, and you can coach your people. Learn, do, teach, learn, do, teach. Put that into your organization. So you should be able to go into a meeting and maybe listen to somebody 30 levels down in your organization, and the script is almost identical to the one you started with. That's when you know you've got things that are working properly. So I asked them to do that. I asked them to listen to audibles. I say, okay, 30 minutes to 1 hour a day, work on this thing. The most valuable real estate in the whole planet for us is here. The mindset, belief, what we think of who we are, where we're going, our dreams, our goals, our ability to attract those goals and dreams. So start working on personal development straight away. And that's so helpful. It saved my bacon. If you said to me, what saved my bacon, 5 years ago, it was listening to the audibles. If it wasn't for that, I don't know. I mean, if it wasn't for ASEA, I was looking to drive for Uber and trying to make money, but of course my car was too old. So what I'm doing is I'm showing every step of the way. I'm not telling. I'm showing. I'm showing by example. And what's the old saying? Remember, a leader goes the way and shows the way. And there's another saying, about creating organizations and building organizations like we do. Example is not the most important thing. It's the only thing. Example is the only thing. And example is not telling. Example is showing. Lead by example. I don't expect anybody to do what I don't do. I don't expect anybody to do what I haven't done. Has it taken some effort to build the business? Yes. Well, so it should. I mean, for the income that I receive, yeah, of course it is. It should take effort. It should take work. But a lot of what I've done is just what I'm sharing with you. There's nothing I've done that you can't do. Anybody on the call, there's nothing I've done you can't do, and you don't have to do it perfectly. It's not a perfect science. Here's the old saying. You might have heard this one before. You can't say the right thing to the wrong person, so don't try. And you can't. What's the opposite of that? You can't say the wrong thing to the right person, and you can't say the right thing to the wrong person. It doesn't matter. It's really just about being present and doing the best you can, being genuine as best you can. I happen to think this is the most incredible opportunity, incredible technology for people on planet Earth. From a business that has no capital requirement, it's incredible. I won't ever see it again in my lifetime. So as I mentioned before, I take care of the information. I'll send out the emails. I'll send out the information. We're coming in soon. I've got another 5 minutes, and then we're done. So second session, do the information. I do all the follow-ups. Now in the second phone session, I've already booked in. Second phone session, my new associate will make half the calls. So I want to get them up to the plate. They got to step up to the plate. I'm not going to do it all for them. I want them to step up to the plate. Now, sometimes they get a little bit nervous in front of me, but I say, look, it's fine. Most of this is just about having the courage to step up. You want to fight for your dreams? It takes courage, doesn't it? It takes courage to do that. So I'm there to guide them. I'm there to support them, to help them, encourage them. It's fine. It's like, it doesn't matter if you mess up. You can always find another name. It's not a problem. No shortage of people in the world to contact. Once you learn how to make a phone call, you can phone anybody. I get people phone me that I might have left a message for 3 weeks ago. And I don't know, go to it's just another call. It's just, once you get used to it and making the calls, it's easy. So second session, I guide them. So sometimes people speak too fast on the phone. Sometimes they can sound a little bit salesy, and they're trying to talk people into it. I said, well, okay, that's not really what we do here. We're really not a sales business. I think what we really do is educate and communicate and educate. Most of what I think I do is that it's learning, trying to educate and communicate and find key people for the organization. So I just kind of guide them a little bit. I don't want to criticize them. I want to encourage them. It's great stepping up to the plate, and so they'll make a call. I'll make a call. They'll make a call. I make a call. We finished that one, same kind of 1.5 hours, 1.5 hour phone session. And then what I do is I book a third session. So generally with a new associate, I'll do three sessions. And in the third session, the new associate will make most of the calls. They'll make maybe 80-90% of the calls, depending on how well they're progressing with that. And then I'll make 10% of the calls. So the idea is, by this time, we're kind of maybe, this is over 3 weeks, let's say, because there's a lot of other things I have to do. If you can do it in faster than that, that's fine too. You can do that. But in the meantime, I'm doing other things and doing the follow-ups as well. By this stage, I'll move to the next level. So one of the things I'm looking for then, by the third session, I'm then looking to move a level down. So in that process, let's say we've sponsored 2, 3, 4 people already. I'm looking for the best of those. I'm looking for the best of the associates we brought in, and then I'll start working with them. So I'll do the same process, start making the calls, start working through the names list. And then my associate, they're free to go and start working with the other people, coaching them, helping them. Now, my job's not done with them. I'm going to coach them, I'm going to guide them. But to this point, teaching them how to make the phone calls, getting on the phone, making lists, helping other people work their names list, being able to contact, being able to do the phone sessions. By the time we've done 3, they pretty much know what I say, what am I saying on the phone. And so the next thing I do is move down a level. So the other thing I do with new people is I want to set them a 3-month goal. That's the first thing, one of the first things. So, and in that 3 months, my aim is to get them to bronze in 2 to 5 months in there somewhere. So the first step is to help them to get to director, and then to get to director 300. I like to get people, if I'm working with them, one-on-one, I like to help them get to director 300 within about 2 or 3 weeks. That's a good goal. Again, sometimes it's a little bit longer, sometimes it's a bit quicker. Director 700, 3 to 6 weeks, something like that. Again, sometimes it's quicker and sometimes a little bit slow, but that's a guide. So if people do it faster, they think, woohoo. And if it takes a little bit longer, that's fine. That's a guide, that's a goal. It's like, okay, let's have some goals. Let's know where we're going to be in 3 months' time. Again, I know if I can get somebody to bronze, I've got a builder. I've got a builder that I can coach, I can mentor, I can work with. Ultimately, what we're doing is building organizations. What we'd like to do is have multiple diamond organizations. That's what we want to have. So how do you break diamond? Well, firstly, you have to help them to get to bronze. Once we help them get to bronze, then we're going to help them. But once I've got somebody to bronze or silver, my role changes at that level. I then become more of a coach. In the early stages, I'm very much a player coach in their business. I play, I coach. I play, I do, I coach, I teach. I'm doing pretty much everything in the early stages, in those early months. Once they're up to speed, once they're up and running, I'm more of a coach. Now, I might be working in the depths of their organization. I might be still doing the same thing, driving through an organization, but my role kind of changes once they're up to that level. So once they're up and running, so I become more of a coach. So some other things that are important in the early stages: create momentum. A business like this loves momentum. It loves speed. And so when you're working in the early stages, create energy, speed, excitement. What gets people excited when they see people coming in their business? What gets them excited when they see they're starting to make some income? So it's about taking massive action. So you take massive action to get the ball rolling. That creates energy, that creates excitement. Mentioned before, the speed of the group is the speed of the leader. The leader's fast, the group's going to be fast. So create excitement, energy, and belief, and aim with everything you do to be duplicatable. Our aim is to become the best leaders we can become, the best coaches, the best mentors, but a lot of that's to do with us. It's about us becoming the best we can be so we can then share that with other people. One of the other things I do constantly is encourage. Encourage people. Here's another Audible. There's one gentleman I suggested an Audible book to him the other day. I think maybe on Friday, he downloaded it. He's listened to the whole book already. It was a book called Secret to Attracting Money by Dr. Joe Vitale. Incredible book about the laws of attraction, attracting into your life what it is you want. So leaders most definitely are readers or listeners. You want a big business, become a listener, become a reader, become prepared to grow and change. And I go to these audibles to grow. I don't go to regurgitate. I go looking for information. I go looking for help to change. And I want to close with this. This is a great statement from the late, great Jim Rohn. And I'll give you a book that I'm listening to of his at the moment. It's called Take Charge of Your Life by Jim Rohn. Absolute classic. For our business and for leadership, absolute classic of a book from one of the greatest personal coach mentors, business mentors the world's ever seen. For those of you who don't know, he was Tony Robbins' mentor. But this is ultimately a statement that he made repeatedly during his life. that he was taught by Mr. Earl Shoaff. And he said, he taught this: if you want more, become more. That's a principle, and it's very, very relevant for our business. If you want more, okay, let me just give you the name of that book again. So it's called Take Charge of Your Life by Jim Rohn. Another book I'm gonna just share with you that was changed my life in 2016, and I listened to this book in 2016 probably 20 times. It was a book by Bob Proctor called You Were Born Rich, and the one I have is in seminar format with John Canary. Absolutely transformed my life, that book. It just taught me about getting my mind right, getting my beliefs back again, and starting to gradually believe in me again. And it was a process. It wasn't, as I mentioned, I wasn't fast. Some of you see the rank now, people see the glory, they don't see the story. Some of you, Big Al might be on the call. I mean, he and I, we were kind of like, and Copper, we were like wounded warriors, but we grew, we changed, we developed, and we knew we had something incredible with ASEA. We knew that. We knew this was an incredible gift. We knew this was a shot at the title. We knew we would probably never see anything like this again. And we're very grateful, very, very grateful. We kind of give thanks every single day for Vertus Norton and this incredible opportunity. And so that's me pretty much done. That's well done. We've weathered 21 notes. It was a bit all over the place because I wrote them up today, but I kind of wanted to give you a sense of, this is what I do. There's nothing magical about it, but there's some principles in there I think that might help you, on your journey. What ASEA needs to be $1 billion company is ASEA needs more diamonds. They need more ambassadors. That's how we're going to get this company to, 500 million and $1 billion. And, just know this, that if one person can do it, another person can do it. If Julie can do it, you can do it. If Coppo can do it, you can do it. Or I can do it, you can do it. We're all the same. It really just depends on our thinking, and we're the only creature on the planet we can actually fix ourselves. What's the old saying? Physician, heal thyself. And I definitely needed a lot of healing a few years ago. But anyway, that's me done. Thank you very much. I hope it's been helpful. I was just about it's an hour.
Thank you, Mal. They might just wait while we see if we've got a question or two. But if anybody wants to take a screenshot of what I've shared on the screen now, just grab your camera out and take a screenshot of it. I'll just leave it there for a sec. That's all the books that Mal suggests. That's the Audible app if you're looking for it. And Mal's scripts are on redoxrules.com, password associate in the business section in scripts and dialogue. And there's lots of other information in there as well. So hopefully you've taken a shot of that so I can...
Can I just close with one thing, Jules? I put this down on a message to folks a little while ago, but there's going to be a number of people on the call that wouldn't have heard this. As I look back on the last 5 years of my journey with ASEA, there's two things that I've done, I think, probably more than anybody that I know in my business, and neither of them are gifts or talents. They're just decisions things that I do. Number one, I think I probably listen to more audibles than anybody in the last 5 years, and there's definitely a key there. There's definitely a clue in there to doing that. So every day I'm listening and working on me. The second thing I've done, every day I dream build. Every day I'm looking to create the life of my dreams. I'm looking for different things, including, the work I do in Africa. So it's not just cars. It's about the work that I do in Africa, constantly getting photos of, the work that I'm doing there. It inspires me and creates a bigger vision, a bigger picture of, what we can do collectively, but who we can become and what we can do. That's the second thing I've done. Those two things, I think, are big keys for building really sizable organizations. So I just wanted to share that with people because that wasn't in my notes.
No, but can I just say, I've traveled a lot with Mal, and he visits me and stays here with me, and trust me, he does exactly what he says he does. He always has headphones in and he's listening to audibles. And he probably does listen to more audibles than anybody I know. Absolutely, for sure.
Thank you for hosting, Jules.
You're
Thank you very much
welcome.
for being my wing woman, not my wing man, my wing woman.
That was a bit of a botch up, but yes, thank you. Like the thanks are coming in like crazy, Mel. We had over 140 people on tonight. That's a big webinar. It just shows, you know, how much we appreciate you.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you very much, everyone. All the best, and let's get going diamond this year. Let's see if we can break another 20 or 30 diamonds in this organisation this year. That'll be exciting.
Absolutely.
But, thank you, Jules.
No worries.
See you very soon.
See you later. Thank you very much, guys.